What's up, everybody? Mike here, and I've got some huge, massive new details when it comes to Phantom Blade Zero. This is based on a roughly 20 to 30 minute demo the devs did with someone from IGN, like a report from IGN, and I basically was just taking notes from the video. And I believe there's an article I'm probably looking to as well here to go over it. It may add some more layers to what's going on in this game. And one thing that the devs really try to stress, it seems like to a degree, is that this is not exactly a Souls-like, or at least not a typical Souls-like game. It's more akin to, being like old-fashioned combo-driven action type of game feel to it, like PS1, PS2 type era of certain action games. The map itself is kind of like the more Souls-like aspect of it, but the devs themselves, yeah, saying this is not a Souls-like. So the combat is akin to the combo style of like a Devil May Cry, very fast-paced, hyper-aggressive, very inspired by Chinese wuxia martial arts. Animation cancels are included as part of the combat too, which is very awesome. Phantom edges are these gadgets you can use in combat as well, more on that in a bit. There are various ways to string combos together using various weapons as well as your ultimate and your Phantom edges to create awesome long combo strings. Weapons shown off so far are one-handed sword, long sword, and dual blades. But in the full game, there will be a wide variety of weapons, with the number being a total, I think about 30, maybe more, the dev said. I've mentioned Phantom Edges a few times now, so I'm sure you're wondering what the heck they are. So Phantom Edges are secondary weapons such as a Tiger Cannon, bow, and more. Bow and Tiger Cannon were shown off in the gameplay demonstration. There will be a wide variety of Phantom Edges in the game as well, covering a bunch of different gimmicks. For example, you can use a Tiger Can mid-combo if you animation cancel correctly to blast enemies right in the face, or use it from a distance to knock enemies from the ground. You'll notice there's a yellow bar you see at the bottom left corner right below your health bar, and this is kind of like your stamina meter. As you block attacks, this yellow bar will be drained when using blocking stance. And once drained, you'll be guard broken. Kind of think of it like Sekiro a bit with the posture bar, where essentially if your posture bars gets completely broken in Sekiro, you're vulnerable, right? You've been guard broken in a sense. This defensive tool is easier for new players to use, but it's not a limited resource, so you have to be careful when and how long you use it for. You can parry in Phantom Blade Zero as well, though. This is very sick. So you can parry regular attacks and blue aura attacks, where if you use block stance, it will drain a lot of your stamina, but if you parry it, you get what's called a ghost step, which is a special defensive tool where you turn the enemy's offense into your offense and take back the advantage. There is red color attacks, and in most like RPG games and games in general, usually red color attacks are these unblockables, attacks, so you'll have to dodge, but if you dodge it perfectly, like at the last second, this grants you a ghost step, allowing you to get in for more damage, weaken enemy, and open them up for more combos. Each weapon has its own combination for its ultimate ability. The purple flame at the bottom right of the screen indicates you have a ultimate charge. Fighting enemies will recharge, but if you also land ghost steps, you will recharge it faster. In terms of exploration, the devs confirm there are hidden chests and maps are multi-layered. Going back to combat though, when you take on a regular enemy, it'll be kind of like this back and forth action of high speed foreplay, with the enemy parrying your attacks and you parry their attacks until you at least break their stamina bar to open them up to combo attacks and deliver more damage to kill them. And during the demo I was checking out, so the main character Soul is given like two main weapons to switch between at first, a pair of short swords and one large katana. Kind of mentioned a little bit of that before. And there's a switching mechanic in the game between weapons that does not change playstyle and reach, but allows Soul to regain their stamina bar immediately to continue their combo and scratch away at the enemy life bar. And the way Phantom Blade Zero is like set up and built up, it wants to reward players for a hyper-aggressive playstyle in order to make those defensive options shine. Enemies are largely made up of warriors of similar size to Soul, suffering very little in the way of knockback to individual attacks. So as I mentioned before, like combos and utilizing combos effectively, basically, with weapons used to essentially continuously bombard, overwhelm your enemies in the game, will help chip away at their yellow bar for stamina. Using dodges appropriately and parries appropriately will help with this too. And in this way, Phantom Blade Zero has more in common with something like Ninja Gaiden, Black, than games from Software Spectrum, basically, or even like I mentioned earlier, Devil May Cry, putting an emphasis on relentless attacks to outclass Souls opponents. The art style is described by the developers at S Game as China Punk, taking classical Chinese mythos and environments and combining them with modern sensibilities. And these bosses in the game are no slouches, some will be easier than others, but they're going to ramp up as you progress through the game, and the bosses will demand a degree of understanding and parrying concept before moving on, obviously, to the next boss. What wasn't shown off yet at all, though, was the level design, even though the devs have kind of mentioned earlier it's like multi-layered, similar to what a Souls-like or Souls game would be. So, not too sure about that. They, mainly focus on the footage they showed off as, showcasing boss fights and combat against, different enemies, regular enemies, the tutorials part of the game, things like that, and what, your health bar is, your yellow stamina bar, things like that, and the parries and blocks and a couple of different weapons. So this is looking very visually amazing overall. Looks a lot of fun. I'm definitely down for a more like fast-paced, hyper aggressive style of game like this that they've mentioned from reports and what I've taken my own notes from, of being like more of a Devil May Cry or Ninja Gaiden type of style. So I'm definitely cool with that. And it reminds me of, like, in terms of movies, it reminds me of, like, somewhat of the old, like, John Woo films and, like, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon a little bit with that wuxia martial arts. So, very, very cool stuff there. Looking forward to this. Hoping to get some more details soon on this. I think it should be at Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show as well. So, we'll get some updates then. I'll definitely, let you guys know about that for sure as soon as I know more. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful and you really liked it, please hit that thumbs up. It helps a lot. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about this? Is this something you're very excited for yourself, or is this like a pass for you? I want to hear from you. My name is Mike. Thanks for watching.